So hi guys, this is the first task. So on this task, what you need to know is we have to draw this using the right angle tool, which is F, and then we draw the rectangular features using the square tool. So that is an easy drawing. So I'm going to show you the tutorial. So on this part, we're going to draw this using the right angle tool. So on the edges, point to point using F. Remember F. Okay. So we have to draw it like that. So what you need to point is I put a point on the edges. Okay, I select, make sure the last part is green, and then I use space. Okay, so that is drawing it using the right angle tool. And then on the second part, I'm going to use the square tool or the parallel, the E tool that we have. So press point to point, I pressed E. Okay, so since it's clearly square, I'm going just to press E. So that is a quick drawing of that one. So I'm going to use F again here. Okay. So that is how you draw this task. So welcome again. So this part on this task, this is task 1.1. So we're gonna draw this task using the right angle tool. So never mind the shadow, guys. Just make sure that you draw everything basing on the actual shape of the house. So don't mind the shadows. Okay. So I'm gonna proceed with the video. Okay. So I'm gonna use right angle tool F, and then we point here. So make sure that the actual shape of the house is being drawn and not the shadows. So other people follow the shadows, which is kind of wrong, which is very wrong. Okay, so we draw the actual shape of the house. Okay. So you notice a point at the edges and not on the points, so it makes my label a lot more straight and good to look at because it's perfectly drawn. Okay, so that is the task 1.1. Okay, so don't mind the shadows, just go for the actual shape of the house. So thank you. Okay guys, this is task 1.2. So in this example, same instructions actually. You draw this using the right angle tool, and then don't forget to draw the small houses at the back using the E tool or the rectangular tool or square tool. Don't mind the trees that are covering some parts of the houses. So again, always aim for the realistic shapes and don't mind the extra points that the houses has. So let's go to the actual task. So on this task, what you need to learn is don't mind the points. What do you mean by points? Is we don't draw the shape of the roof, we draw the actual shape of the house. So what I'm going to do here is I'm gonna use right angle tool. Okay, so I'm gonna draw point to point on the first point. Okay, so I passed through that point. Okay, so I'm drawing the actual shape of the house, not the shape of the roof. Okay, I'm using right angle tool, so point to point, and then I draw the edges. So because if I draw the edges, it makes my drawing straight. Okay, so I passed through that, I passed through this, I passed through this point and this point, and then you have to draw this part using the E tool or the square tool or the parallel tool. Okay, and then I draw that straight, fast and easy. So that is the task 1.2. Okay guys, so welcome again. This is what task 1.4. So on this task, we have to draw the rectangular features using E. So upon looking at it, it's all rectangular, so this is gonna be an easy task. But there is a visible sidewall on this one, so we have to draw that sidewall too. So this is an example of an easy 3D building. Okay, so do not follow the shape of the roof ledges. You just need to draw straight line for each the side. Okay, so we're gonna go into the example. Okay, so this is the actual example. So on this side, we don't need to follow these points or the roof ridges. We just need to draw it straight. Okay, so we're going for the actual shape of the house, not the shape of the roof. Okay, so I'm using E. Okay, I'm gonna change the color here for you to see clear. And then I'm gonna use E here again. And then I'm gonna use E here again. So you notice these three buildings are beside each other, so I'm gonna set a vector for them, so because they all have the same direction. So when we say a vector, this is the direction of the wall. Okay, it's the side wall. Okay, so since the side wall is visible, you have to drag that down into the base of the building. So what I do is I select it, space control, and then I use control and then drag. So this one was included, so I'm just gonna control. Okay, that is kind of weird. Okay, so I had to do something for that. I had to select it and press Control Q to remove uh, the uh, the sidewall first, and then I have to drag it again because they don't have the same height. Okay, so that has a different height. So that is the yeah, visible sidewall using E. So that is the task 1.4. So guys, welcome again. This is task 1.9. So on this task, we need to use a right angle tool, F, and then if you can draw the square parts on the back, you have to use E. Okay, so on this task, this is a good task example of big portion of the house being covered by trees, so you don't need to mind the trees. Again, we are going for the realistic shape of the building and not the shape of the roof. Okay, so I'm going to the actual task. Okay, so I'm going to use F here. Okay, so I could just press space for there. I'm going to change the color. See, point to point on the visible part. You see this part, since it's not visible, I cannot use a point there. So that is a good example of why I am clicking on the edges for you to of course draw it faster. So I can see the edge here, and then I see the edge here, and then again here, and then on my last point I'm going to press on my first point, and then I use space to close the drawing. Okay, so I don't copy the edges of the roof, I just copy the actual shape of the house. Okay, so again, edge to edge, I press on the edge, press on the edge, kind of the edge here, and then I can see it here, and then here, and then again on the last point, I put a point on the first point, and then I press space. Okay, so that is three houses easily drawn. I could probably still draw this E, and then this is E again. Okay, so that is a good example of a task wherein a big part of the house being covered by trees. Also, that is example task 1.9. Thank you. Okay guys, so this is task 1.11. So in this task, we specify that we don't draw shadows, so we have to pass through the shadows, draw the realistic building outlines, and don't mind the shadows and the trees. So that is our basic rule. So we're going straight into the actual example. So on the first point, I'm on the first point, and then the second point, and then see clearly that I am clicking on the edges and not minding the shadows. So drawn by right angle tool and never minding the shadow. This is the actual shape of the building. So that is task 1.11. Thank you.